Up next, from safari animals to underground awe, America's Mother Road is showing off some of her finest, this time in Missouri and Kansas.
Authentic diners serve up their signature dishes.
So that's the Slinger.
Oh, wow.
And one-of-a-kind vintage motor courts make you feel right at home.
Welcome to the Boots.
Welcome to Small Town Big Deal. I'm Rodney Miller.
And I'm Jan Carl.
And this is the second in a series of episodes about America's Mother Road, Route 66.
And just over our shoulders there, the famous St. Louis Arch. Now, it is the tallest arch in the entire world.
It's often referred to as the gateway to the West. And certainly, it's the gateway to our next adventure along Route 66.
Extending from Chicago to Santa Monica, California, the Mother Road lured people to hit the road and leave their worries behind. Even after being decommissioned back in 1985, the fascination continues. About 300 miles of that coast-to-coast journey cut across Missouri. And here in St. Louis, I think the perfect way to get our kicks is to eat right.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And it's a good thing I skipped breakfast. Back in 2018, Eat Right actually closed, and it looked like it might never reopen. That's when Joel Holtman suddenly found himself in the diner business.
It's part of the history of St. Louis. If these walls could talk, it had a lot to say.
Well, this is my hamburger first.
Oh, I want one of your fries.
So that's the Slinger.
Oh, wow.
That's the famous Slinger there.
After a meal like that, you're probably not thinking dessert.
But you just gotta head over to Ted Drew's for frozen custard.
I want a peach custard. So you know how much I've been looking forward to this.
I remember the time we came here, the first time you told me about it, dead of winter, sitting in the car with the heater on, just so we could eat the ice cream.
Churning out cool treats for over 90 years, Ted Drews Sr. opened his first shop in 1929. Still run by the family, it's now a legendary Route 66 favorite.
I got M&M.
Cookie dough.
Strawberry sundae with whipped cream.
Lots of folks love Ted Drew's, and they love the Mother Road for lots of different reasons.
Every old building has a story. You won't like Route 66 if you look at an old building and say, well, that's a crappy old building. But every single one of them is the story of a family that lived beside the road, struggled to make a living, maybe they survived the Depression, and then one day the interstate comes along and...
When times got tough for Ted Drews, he started selling Christmas trees on his property every December.
So if it's a little too cold to want a frozen custard, there's another reason to stop by.
It's never too cold for me to want Ted Drew's frozen custard. There's one more place we have to go, helping our morning feast go full circle. But there may be a hole in this plan.
Donuts, I'm in.
This no-frills donut shop right on Route 66 has been using the same family recipes since the 1950s.
There's no seating inside, but it won't take you long to polish off a Long John, a French cruller, or a handful of donut holes.
Cheers.
To make part of our trip through Missouri more authentic, collector Steve Young loaned us his 1964 Buick Wildcat.
I think you're gonna get a few looks in this car.
Think this is a chick magnet?
I think so.
If this car can attract chicks to me at my age, this is quite a car.
Just outside the city of St. Louis on Old Route 66 in Manchester is Big Chief Roadhouse. Built in 1929, it provided elegant dining for the Big Chief Cabin Hotel, which is no longer standing.
It's rumored that the restaurant drew famous characters like Babe Ruth and Al Capone. Today, another famous guy in the Route 66 world, known as Roman Rich, met up with us. He's the president of the Missouri Route 66 Association, but his passion and expertise extends the entire route. where did you develop this love for Route 66?
Well, it all started when I was a kid. We did a lot of road trips down towards Branson. My father owned a little ranch down there. And so all the time he was constantly saying this was Route 66 and that was Route 66. So I looked out the window.
You looked out the window?
Yeah, that's what I did. And so now I find myself kind of going back and trying to find those places. And not only that, today preserving and keeping those places, restoring those places.
So when someone makes that journey today, what kind of experience can you tell them they will have if they do it?
They do it right. They take the time. Don't just try to rush through it. They'll have the trip of a lifetime.
We'll be right back with more from Missouri's Route 66.
What award was given to Ted Drewes in 2017? Was it Best Route 66 Ice Cream Shop? World's Best Ice Cream Shop? Missouri's Best Ice Cream Shop? The answer when we come back.
So what award was given to Ted Drewes in 2017? If you guessed World's Best Ice Cream, you got it right.
Welcome back to Small Town Big Deal. We are about 30 minutes outside of St. Louis on Route 66 at a place called Jensen's Point, and wow, what a view.
You know, a lot of people call this the gateway to the Ozarks.
On Route 66, the getting there is part of the fun. So much history still standing proudly, just waiting for you to notice it. We're on our way to a hideout of the notorious Jesse James, the historic MERAMEC Caverns in Stanton.
Known as Missouri's buried treasure, owner Les Torelli safeguards the legends and the cave that his grandfather bought in 1933. He's also added a few new adventures.
My grandfather always told my grandmother that someday he's going to own a big cave and take thousands of people through it.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, so if this cave weren't cool enough already, Stephen shows us this. This is the third largest stalagmite in the world.
All my life, I've wanted to go to MERAMEC Caverns. Well, finally I got here, and it was well worth the wait.
Then it's on to Cuba, Missouri that is, full of Route 66 adventures, starting with a meal at Shelley's.
Here we're like family. Everybody that walks in, we already know you.
Cuba's history is told with murals painted all around the town.
This one is about Al West, a 6-time mayor who also owned the tractor and car dealership here in town.
Just down the road, Jen pulled up a chair, a 42-foot tall one, to talk with the owner of Fanning Outpost.
One of the funny things is people miss it.
What do you mean people miss it?
Like they pull in and they'll come inside and they're like, where's the big chair?
Cuba offers up a big dose of charm at the Four-Way Diner, renovated from a traditional Route 66 gas station.
We just wanted to have a restaurant on Route 66 where people felt like they were at home.
After an exceptional 4-way meal, step back to a simpler time at the Wagon Wheel Motel, operating since 1935.
Just kind of struck me as, oh, this is such a cool old place. I hate to see them tear it down.
Next, as we rode through Rolla on Route 66, we had to see if the best pie in the world really was here. It was.
Now, I also do half pies.
What?
Yeah.
You will do that?
You know, really, I only like 2 kinds of pie. I mean, hot and cold.
Okay, half cherry and half raspberry.
Okay.
I don't even think I need a fork. Let's go.
See ya.
They call this place a slice of pie. I call it a slice of heaven.
When you hear about John's modern cabins, you don't quite imagine this. But our Route 66 expert, Roman Rich, imagined much more.
Every time we drive past here, I just look out the window and I'd say, what are those cabins? And I always wanted to stop. In later years, I finally got a chance to get out here. I'm still in love with it just as much today.
We helped Rich paint a Route 66 shield on the road by John's, so travelers know that this is the original road and that history lives here.
Ta-da! In rural Jerome, travelers get a unique chance to stop and honor Native Americans that were forced to relocate many years ago.
How did this all begin?
Larry Baggett. Took him 40 years to do all the rock structures, the statues, and it was a tribute to the Trail of Tears.
Next stop in our whirlwind journey is in Lebanon, where we have lunch at the famous Rinks Market.
Then we met the delightful Ramona Lehman, who has owned Munger Moss Motel for almost 50 years, through Route 66 decommissioning, and now it's come back.
So you really think the key to you still being here is that you jumped on the Route 66 as something we should remember, something we should celebrate?
History! It's not going to die.
Route 66 can be filled with surprises. Sure didn't expect to get up close and personal with exotic animals. There are 65 species that live at the 250-acre Wild Animal Safari in Stratford.
I got some pretty good teeth.
When you hit Springfield, hold on to your hat, because Route 66 is hopping.
Start with Gailey's Breakfast Cafe. From there, Rodney snagged us a ride from the Springfield Visitor Center in a Route 66 Car Museum Classic. Inside the History Museum on the square, there's a mock interactive shootout to see who's the best shot.
Okay, so I'm gonna be Hickok.
Wait a second, Tuck got killed.
Exactly, let's go. Well, this town ain't big enough for the both of us, Miller.
Right in the heart.
Bullseye.
If you're hungry after your sharpshooting, there's a new attraction along the route to grab some grub, the Route 66 Food Truck Park.
I traveled Route 66 from Chicago to Santa Monica, and I read 66 Chevy pickup last year and got ideas.
After this jam-packed day, relaxation and a restful night's stay at the historic Rockwood Motor Court is just the ticket.
Built in 1929, the Rockwood is a survivor with all the original rooms intact and newly renovated.
More bells and whistles from along Route 66 and inspiration for a much beloved movie character.
You're watching Small Town Big Deal.
Welcome back to our Route 66 adventure, where we just arrived at the Sinclair station in Paris Springs, Missouri.
This 1934 service station was destroyed by fire in the 1950s, but Gary Turner rebuilt it in 2004 to once again welcome thousands of Route 66 road warriors.
His daughter Barb picked up the torch and keeps it going today.
It's his memory of what he created for Route 66 and all the folks that travel it.
Hello? Yeah, hold on. It's for you.
Yeah. I actually remember during a gas war in Benton, Illinois when I was a real little kid, that the Wide station, you remember Wides? It got down to 9 cents.
On County Road North, cross over the old one-lane bridge and you'll see the tiny ghost town of Spencer. It was a lively place after Route 66 came through in 1925. That is, until 66 was moved elsewhere. Then everything closed.
But today, Spencer is being slowly restored to greet a new generation of Route 66 travelers wanting to visit history.
And what some people love best along the route is, well, these little mini ghost towns you discover along the way.
This stretch of Route 66 was poured in the early 1930s. It's hand-trialed. And Missouri was the second state to have all of Route 66 paved in the early 30s.
For a real history lesson, we stopped in at the one-room Phelps Schoolhouse, one of the most beautifully restored buildings on Route 66.
This one-room school was almost literally on the original 66.
Right, except this was built in 1888.
It was here first.
It was here first. So I'm walking on the edge of the pavement of where Route 66 was in 1926, and for many, many years afterwards, it's 10 feet from the front of a school. It's no wonder many years later, they finally moved the highway over about 75 feet.
After learning how this school left its mark on the families in this area, we left our mark on the blackboard.
Voila.
Then the bell rang and it was time to go.
We're in Carthage, Missouri. It's the birthplace of a United States astronaut, Dr. Janet Cavandy. It's also the birthplace of someone else you might know, Jan Carl.
Just outside Carthage, you'll discover the truly unique town of Red Oak, too. Its creator, famed artist Lowell Davis, invited us to sit on the porch and learn why he created this little town.
Well, when I first got out of service, I went to Dallas, Fort Worth area, where I was an art director for a big ad agency for 13 years. And all that 13 years, all I could think about getting out of there and getting me a farm back in Missouri.
Lowell's childhood memories in rural Red Oak, Missouri had him longing for those simpler days. But he discovered his old hometown was a ghost town.
So he began rescuing and relocating the buildings about 20 miles to his farm and created Red Oak 2 with over 40 vintage buildings.
All these have meaning to me.
What do you hope people see or think or feel when they come?
I just want them to come and enjoy it, all. That's all I'm asking out of it.
More fun and a great escape to country life lies just across the road. Red Oak 2 investors, Larry and Lois Frickensmith, have developed the Old Time Reunion Complex as a companion venue. It all began when they started saving Red Oak 2 buildings that were deteriorating and soon to be lost.
I grew up in this area, and my son used to do reenactments out here when Lowell first put it together, so we just progressively came around to where we own 17 of the buildings that we have out here right now. But the objective is saving the buildings, like that one-room country school. Children can come out and see what it was like to go to a one-room country school, 1st grade through 8th grade.
Along with preserving history, Larry and Lois have developed a remarkable and multifaceted event venue, including the amazing Legacy Barn.
To find out more and book an event, be sure to check out oldtimereunionevents.com.
After a day out at Red Oak 2 while you're still in Carthage, you can sleep where screen legend Clark Gable used to stay, at the quaint Boots Motel.
Welcome to the Boots. The best thing about being on Route 66 is meeting the people on Route 66.
Then hop on over to Joplin for a great steak dinner at Wilder Steakhouse.
We're very proud to be known as a famous Route 66 attraction. A lot of people come in to see us while they're traveling the Mother Road.
As we say goodbye to Missouri, some famous friends welcome us to Kansas as Route 66 blazes through a tiny part of its southeast corner.
This small town of Galena inspired a big movie character. When Pixar and Disney were researching a movie idea, they saw an inspiring old wrecker, soon to be known by all as Tow Mater, in the popular film Cars.
We found out it was the original Tow Mater from Michael Wallace, who of course is the voice of the sheriff car. They saw it sitting out in the parking lot up against the brick wall and actually had a tree growing up through his boom.
So many great things to see on this quaint and quick stretch of Route 66 in Kansas, including their historic Rainbow Bridge.
So of all the states that Route 66 traveled through, which state had the fewest miles of the Mother Road?
That would be right here in Kansas, just 13.2.
Get that .2 in there.
Yeah. Our last stop is the wonderful Nelson's General Store in Riverton. They have just about everything a Route 66 road warrior would want, and then some.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Small Town Big Deal.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Small Town Big Deal as we close out Route 66 through Missouri and a little bit of Kansas.
That's right. So your favorite part?
Oh gosh, well I've always loved Ted Drew's ice cream.
I knew you were going to say that.
I was so glad to know it was actually on Route 66.
John's modern cabins,
well,
singular,
yeah,
barely standing. And okay, the refurbished Red Oak 2 and all the people along the way.
I'm Rodney Miller.
And I'm Jan Carl.
Join us again next week when once again we celebrate the great stories from across America.